Guys, we can't get into Harry Potter. I gotta go.
All right.
I have work to do.
Well, then, Andrea, can you close this out for this episode?
Sure. If you're still, by a very small chance, still with us, thank you for tuning in. I hope you got your Pog word of the week. And, when you hear this, it will be Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas Eve. I have a feeling Buddy Theta is probably the only one who made it to the end. So shout out Buddy Theta. Shout out Swampy. It's my other guest. And maybe shout out Chief.
Merry Christmas. Yeah, I know. I got a voice like an angel.
Wait, why'd you stop?
This week episode is brought to you by None of Secret Supply of Sauce, the best sauce known to mankind and available on shelf anywhere. Even when the freezer is full of sauce, there is still no sauce for you. You want some of Nona's sauce? Too bad, only Nona decides who gets the sauce.
Hey Mags, have you heard about the Pog Hub?
Pog Hub? No, what's that?
Pog Hub. It's the new Pog Embassy from our friends Kyler over at Pog Digital.
They got a Pog Hub?
They got a Pog Hub, man. You can go there. All it takes is an email address. You sign up. It's as easy as that. And then from there, connect your Twitter account, and you got daily social quests that you can use to get some points.
What are these points you speak of?
Right now, these are just Pog points. And right now, there is the ability to open up some Pog loot packs. And if you're feeling like a gamble, you can go ahead and rip them open. Some have points in them, some have Discord roles. Maybe in the future there'll be more.
Oh, you'd think Pog being a proud sponsor of the Pinecast, I'd know about this.
You would think so. I did happen to notice that the Poppin' Mags intern was on it.
The intern was on it?
That's correct.
And I knew nothing about it.
Doesn't surprise me. Hop on over to hub.pogdigital.com and check it out today.
Poppin's poppin' and lockin', Magnum scrutinizing. Poppin' Mags Podcast.
I've arrived.
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome.
How do I change my
Welcome.
name? 7:53. I had to do the podcast before work hours start.
Yeah. Otherwise, they're going to be like, "Oh yeah, what does business development do? What do they do?"
Just record podcasts about Black Mirror, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's a Netflix tie-in because, Theta and Netflix, they just go hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
No comment.
Too soon.
Oh boy.
Pam is laying down next to me, huffing and puffing because I'm not giving her food.
Oh.
The queen that she is.
Pam.
That happens with our dog, Timmy. He sits there, he stares at you. He'll stare at you and Carrie gets so mad. She's like, "What? I just sat down one." I'm like, I got him.
Are you trying to fight me?
Yeah, right. So I'll go over and I'll fight with him and then he's fine. It's annoying, but I'm like, what are you gonna do? He's bored. He's basically John Hamm's subject in that globe or something.
Oh my God. I keep thinking about the 1,000 years a minute.
Oh my God. All right. Terrible.
Mags, where are we starting? Follow your lead.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we have a very special Christmassy themed episode for y'all. We have Andrea Barry, famous for once seeing Wedding Crashers 4 times in the movie theater, and also you one time ate half a Twinkie. Welcome. One time.
Thank you. It's good to be here. It's good to be had.
Rob Feldman, Ringo Award nominated.
Just
Rob
nominated.
Feldman. Yeah.
Just nominated.
But still.
Yeah. I'm riding that one out all the way.
I would ride it.
like Fonzie, like Henry Winkler on Happy Days. I'm going to go to season 11, whatever, with that.
Jump the Shark?
No, he actually became a shop teacher, right? It was like after Jump the Shark, it got really bad. He was like a shop teacher and legit. Anyway, that's me to the Ringos. I'm Fonzie, the shop teacher with that Ringo Award.
And Psycho KO.
Yes.
I think that was Zilly nominated as well.
Not this year.
But last year.
Yes. Yeah, last year. Yeah.
Once a nomination, always a nomination.
That's
right.
That's right. Oh, always a nomination, never a bride, or whatever.
A winner.
Whatever. That's from
That we could just it's always a bridesmaid, never a bride. But we could just
Right.
call you Leonardo DiCaprio.
He won though.
Yeah.
Wait, he did?
Yeah, he
Did
won
he?
an Oscar for
The Departed.
Greg the Bear ate him.
Oh my God, this is like the day I found out Bob Saget died.
Yeah,
Wait, Bob Saget died? No, I'm kidding. That's not funny.
Rob,
that's a bad joke. That's not how you work meetings, Rob.
Yeah. Wait, DiCaprio won something? What bear movie?
He won for the Bear movie? Mags, you're mute, amateur.
You're muted. It's
Still
like a
muted.
Black Mirror episode with the muting.
Yeah, we can block.
We just blocked Mags.
Mags, you're still muted. Classic audio issues with Mags. Still muted.
Still.
Still muted. Well, Rob, welcome to my show.
Well, thank you, Andrea, for having me on. It's this is the Black Mirror episode. This is so good. You know, when you guys were out in ThetaCon and you were launching the Black, we can't hear you, Mags, like at all. Your
I love
lips
that
are
he's
moving.
still trying.
Your lips are moving, but we hear nothing.
All right, there he goes. What were you going to say, Rob?
I said, so when you guys were out in ThetaCon and you and Mags were doing the Pinecast, and I was sitting in the audience and I had 2 drinks. By the way, I think I left the mojito or margarita under my chair. I was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm still obsessing
You want me to
about
call
it.
them?
I don't know what they did with. I was like, I realized after I was like, oh yeah, because I was counting the drinks I had. Like, oh, I had beer, but and I was like, oh, I had a margarita. Oh no, I didn't. I left it under the chair. But
Was
when
it empty or full when you left it?
it was full. It was a full margarita. I just never moved on it. You know,
Lone soldier. That's okay. I think that's good. You know, if that was the worst thing you left behind, I don't think it's so bad.
Yeah. Oh, my dignity also at the Zilly Awards. I left that behind. I left that in the car, actually.
You carried the Zillies.
No, I don't think so.
How did the rest of ThetaCon go, though? From the ThetaCon
you
committee
cut out too.
perspective.
What is going on? You're muted also.
No, I purposely put
Oh, there we
myself
go.
on mute
Okay,
after.
got it. Yeah, there you go.
So you don't hear Pam growling.
Oh, I got you. That's okay. Yeah, so so when we were sitting in the room and you and Mags were doing the Pinecast, I was like, I had FOMO because I was like, wait a second, they're doing the Black Mirror episode. They promised me a spot. You didn't really, but I was
Mags
like, all
did.
right,
Mags has been hyping this up for over 12 months now, I think.
almost a year.
Yeah. If not past the year.
He's
So do you think we should do like a recap real quick? Because I feel like there may be 1 or 2 people listening here in general, but 1 or 2 people who haven't watched this episode of Black Mirror, and it was dark. It was a dark one.
This is the White Christmas one with John Hamm you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Here, you know what? I'm going to type it into good old ChatGPT, my best friend.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Give me a quick summary recap. All right.
Now, here's the thing, though. Question. Yep. Are we going to... I don't know if you could hear that. Like, people are using the blender. Everybody's home now for Christmas. They're using everything. All right. We hear you now, Mags.
Okay.
Are we going to be giving like spoilers? I mean, it's been like 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're full-blown spoilers.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. What did I miss when you guys were? Only heard.
Well, Andrew's just going to do a
done.
recap. Yeah, we're finished.
Yeah, we're done.
Was it really good?
It was great. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I got our intro. Today, we're diving into the Black Mirror holiday special, White Christmas, a twisted tale of technology gone wrong, where augmented reality, digital clones, and eternal punishment collide. It's got John Hamm as a sleazy tech guru, dark secrets unraveling in a snow cabin, and a mind-blowing twist that will make you rethink your holiday cheer. Grab your cookies, and I don't mean the edible kind, because this is one Black Mirror episode that'll leave you questioning everything.
Ooh.
Okay, boom, I'm done for the day.
That was good. That's a mic drop.
That's it?
That's a mic drop.
Okay, well, I'm curious. So, for those who need a little jogging of memory, because I had to rewatch the episode. And
Well, do people know what Black Mirror is in
Oh,
general?
that actually was going to be my first question.
Yeah.
Or who
Rob,
John
I've
Hamm
asked
is.
Mags this. Do you know what a Black Mirror is?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I mean, obviously, it's a series on Netflix, but I don't know.
Correct.
But I don't know. No, I don't.
Yes. I'm so excited. Mags, let me take this. Rob, when you look at your phone when it's off, what
Yeah.
does it look like?
It looks like a Black Mirror. Whoa, wait a minute. What the hell? Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
so
looking
a
at it right
screen, a
now.
TV, your computer screen, your phone, those are all Black Mirrors.
Is that why it's like
Oh,
shattered like your phone if you dropped it? A lot of times in the picture
Yes,
of
you
the Black Mirror?
guys.
Oh.
It did take me like 2 seasons to figure it out. I think
I
I was,
don't
like,
think
putting on, like, lipstick or something one day, and I just took my phone, the Black Mirror of the phone, and I was, like, doing my lipstick, and I was like, "Oh,
oh yeah.
this is a Black Mirror."
Doom. Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, there's like a miniature version of you somewhere who's losing their lipstick
I
or
know, it's
something,
like the
right? That would be
Truman.
like,
Yes, it's like the Truman Show times a billion.
yeah. But this, so I've been watching Black Mirror, well, since it came out. And what is it, up to 4 seasons now? Something like that, is that right?
no, it's like 5 or
Way
6.
more.
Is it?
Don't
Is
bother
it?
yourself with the last one.
I did.
No, that Loch Ness one,
Oh, that
that was
was
fucked
dude.
up. That was
What
really
the
I
yeah.
don't even remember. I think I didn't like it so much, I just
the
blocked
nurse,
it
the
out.
mask,
The mask with
that mask
Oh,
hanging
with the
up,
that one.
drill? With
Okay,
the
that one
drill?
that
was really scary.
though it didn't right, it didn't fall into Barry's criteria of there was no technology in that.
Right.
A
There well,
little
there
bit because
wasn't
of the video. Of all of
yeah.
them, that was the most Black Mirror-esque.
But I mean, in terms of like the last season, and I know we're talking about White Christmas, but like it was the most horror. It was, you know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
really rooted in horror. It didn't have any like tech spin like Black Mirror typically has.
Right,
For
like
that
where
reason, it was like,
right.
you know.
Agreed, although that episode was good. Okay, but in general, let's back up. Thoughts on Black Mirror as a show? I think it's, like, one of the best shows to me because I love isn't it called an anthology, Rob? Where it's, like, every episode, you don't really have to watch them in chronological order, like, each is its own standalone, almost like a mini movie, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a pretty good term for that anthology for sure.
Cool. That's what they call it in the biz.
In the biz,
The-
baby.
But some of them do connect. There is some overlap.
What?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think it's necessary to know that, but some of these overlap, and
Like Easter eggs?
there's Easter eggs of different things in an episode that you'll see in another episode.
Oh, right. I did ask ChatGPT for some tips, and they said that in this White Christmas, anyone who knows what love is will understand is used in the episode during the karaoke scene. This song recurs throughout the series as a thematic link between episodes.
Oh. Yeah, but also the technology itself, you know what I mean? Like the blocking, for instance.
Oh my
I've
God, I
seen that
know.
in other episodes, right? So you kind of you get used to the idea of like, oh, the tech is there, it's going to be reused again. I think.
Usually the episodes have like a technology aspect, and it's like one technology thing, right? Like it's not multiple. It's like one thing, and then that is the focus of it, right?
Yeah.
But they do overlap because the cookie concept that we'll get into, right? That also appeared in the Black Museum. Not a fan of that one. Hang the DJ, which was pretty good though. Episodes.
How do you remember all of
Yeah, I
that?
know, right? I know.
We're
I was just yeah.
the interns. They really prepped me for this episode. Believe it or not.
But what's interesting about all of them, and I mean, I'm kind of overstating the obvious here, though, is that the tech. The question always comes down to: is the tech good for us? Is the tech
Yes.
going to further? And inevitably, and ultimately, all the time, that answers, it answers itself with a big fat no. So you wonder what the producers of Black Mirror are thinking. Do they love technology or are they scared of it?
Okay, I have a strong opinion of this growing up in Silicon Valley with like computers around me my whole life. I think for as much evil or danger or whatever technology can bring, there's just as much good. It's like a two-way street. And so, not to be all corny, but it's up to humanity to make sure the balance happens in, more on the good side. Like, it's up to parents to regulate their children's technology usage. It's like we can't let it get out of control. Like, we have to see, because I think we're way too trusting of, I don't even want to say technology, but like I don't know. We're way too trusting. Like, you see these people, they all had their eyes reset, or in other episodes, they like want to opt into like embed technology into their body. It's like somebody owns that. There's a company behind that. Like, you lose control. I think people do that all the time. Like, wasn't it last year or the year before that people at the mall were given like $50 to like do a digital retina scan of their eyes?
Oh, really?
What was
Not at
that,
my
Max?
mall.
I feel like you would
Did
know.
I miss out on this? Did
That
I
wasn't
miss
at
out
my
on that?
mall.
If it's
It wasn't at
$50,
your mall. Well, let me see. I'm gonna find this out. Anyways, not to go on a
But-
rant, but I think that the creators of the show like technology, because I think there's still like really good and exciting things that the themes can show, but then it's like, whoa, for every good, there's a really dark side too that we all have to be careful of, or like you have to be responsible for.
Yeah.
Can't
Can I
surrender
say
to the
one thing
tech.
though? Like,
Just one.
just one. I get that and I agree, but usually, other technology comes and it's just a sole benefit, I think, to humanity. I think about the greatest invention ever, indoor plumbing. I woke up with 6 degrees today, Fahrenheit.
Four over here, 4
Oof.
degrees. Yeah.
4 degrees.
Yeah. Terrible.
I don't know how you argue with indoor plumbing being like the greatest.
Yeah.
And it didn't really do anything bad to me,
Yeah.
so.
Everybody talks about, it's the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, what? It's clearly plumbing.
Yeah.
That's the winner over sliced bread. I mean, I can pick the bread apart with my hands, but like, but but you have these. I know, but it's so like a lot of the technology though. It is good. We're just. We're living it right now, right? We were talking about this earlier, where Black Mirror was only 10 years ago. We now have neural implants. We now have AI. We have this
Dogs.
robot dogs. We have the capabilities to like
Yeah.
become our own Black Mirror. And humanity is not ready for. We weren't ready for social media, let alone a retina in our an eye that records everything, so that we
I
can go
know.
pour through the memories of our past. Like, what? No, it's a bad idea. And so to that end, with this episode, White Christmas, where they take this cookie out of your brain and it becomes you basically, right? Which is again where we're at with AI. You can make a
Yeah,
replica.
your digital clone.
Yeah, you can make a digital clone. And then the things that they just sort of let that digital clone go through when it comes to, the passage of time and being sort of like a servant to the real self, right? People have to watch this episode in order to know what I'm talking about. But, and there's no thought or feeling toward that. And that's the scary part. That when it starts to affect not your day-to-day action, but your feelings, which is what we all are essentially, that it's a real problem, right? I don't know.
I love this take, and I never like to talk about age, but I think it's safe to say I'm the youngest person here. And it's interesting because but like all of our ages, which we won't disclose, are like at the cusp of very transformative moments of technology, social media, online cell phones, faxes versus, like everything. And I think it's so, like, it's just interesting because my little sister like grew up with a cell phone while my older sister didn't get one until she was like in college, and you can just tell the difference. But it's interesting what you're saying, Rob, because it's essentially saying, I don't know, I think it's all about the technology, but how do humans interact with the technology is more what the show is about. And how do we let it be, take advantage of us, or how do we unethically, I don't know, it's just like who creates the technology, who's in control of the technology, and then how do we as a society implement and like let it take over.
Right. Or not. I mean, this is
Right.
where, okay, so you're driving and you're driving in a 2-lane, highway, and there's a yellow line. Someone's told me this years ago. And there is a trust that you have that the other person is not going to cross over into your lane and smack into you head on. It's a thin painted line. That's it, that divides you, right? So this is what separates us from from the other piece of the digital, which is our rules, our morals, all of these things. And when that gets compromised, then now you're dealing with something else, right? And I think there's a little taste of that going on in our society. If you read the terrible news, of all the stuff that happened, I'm not going to run it down, but like over the past couple of days, you're like, oh my God, like where did the lines get drawn, and how did they get drawn? I mean, we even deal with this stuff with crypto and the SEC and regulation and blah blah blah, all that stuff. So I do think that there needs to be, at the end of the day, it's people. Yeah, at the end of the day, always, right? I don't know. It just made me feel, when I was watching that White Christmas episode, I thought, wow, people do have, is it nature or nurture?
Yeah.
Because people really can be awful. Right.
Okay. One thing I wanted to ask you about, Rob, because I was kind of at the cusp of this, but I always told, like, not that you're my mom's age, but you're a little bit older than me.
Probably. I mean, I'm 53. I have no
Oh,
problem with
you're
my
very
age.
much
Yeah.
younger than my mom. But
Oh, all right.
when you were dating, I think you and I have actually had this conversation at NFT and when we were getting rooftop burgers. But I was
Yeah.
like, I think it's so interesting that when you were dating, if you didn't like someone or they didn't like you, it was like, lose my number. And like that was it. And you probably never, unless they stalked you later in life and looked you up on Facebook.
Yeah.
But
It's happened.
I think that's so interesting where today, like when I would be dating somebody in college, after college, it's like I'd have to block them on Facebook or they keep popping up on my feed. I mean, I didn't have to do that for everybody, but like I was so envious of a time where it was like, yeah, just lose my number or I could change my number or if I moved, it's like you could really leave that in the past. So that on one hand, I think that's like an old school version. This online version where you could just do it at the click of a button like that was
Mhm.
really sad and dark in this episode.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I just think it's like polar opposites ends of the spectrum, but I think it's so interesting. And to me, the difference is back then with a telephone and like old school dating, it was more I don't think it was like as I don't know, like what's the word? Instant gratification. Like I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but today you could just do it just because you're angry. Like if you're angry back then, you might wait a day or a week and that slowly happens. But like today you could just do it because you're like, F this person. They're so like, I'm done. And it's really
Yeah.
sad that like to think of in the show, he doesn't see his daughter. And I just can't even imagine. And then we can talk about the spoiler, right? Where John Hamm is blocked by everybody at the end. Like, wouldn't you just say, bye, I'm done with this world? Like, take me out now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you're needy, you need people's to see people. But
I'm
you-
sorry, but that's human nature. I don't think you can survive
You
in
think so?
human solitary.
I know I can. I know I can.
No, but think about, I know you're making a joke, but
Am I?
I don't know. But
We don't
what's
know you.
worse? Okay, what's worse, to live in complete solidarity and silence and alone, whatever. But then John Hamm, you are out and about. Everybody is around you. Everybody's talking, and you just hear muffled noises. You can't hear. Like, I think that's even worse.
That's the worst.
Yeah,
That's the
for
worst.
sure.
I mean, I could live, and I know that this is a big claim, but I definitely can live by myself and not see other people, because mainly, as I hate throwing this around, like, as like someone who's, I think I'm creative. I think I can like just spend my time making stuff, and just that keeps me occupied, so I don't know. I'm not going to test it out. I really don't want to test it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, but if I couldn't see my kids, that would be terrible. Like he really went through hell, that guy.
Yeah.
She really was like, and it's just simple communication. It could have been one line. This baby's not yours. That's it. But
know.
it raised another good. I mean, there were so many points that this particular episode made. Was if she just confronted the situation, but she used technology to avoid it. How many times, to your point,
Yeah.
how many times do you use technology to avoid somebody, block them, mute them from saying what you really want to say? Because nowadays the repercussions of saying something is pretty bad. Like there's a lot of liability and whatever. Everybody will get the torches. Let's get them. All she had to do was say, "This is not your child." That would have been it.
One of my favorite lines in life is, "The truth will set you free."
Yeah.
It's like, it may be painful, but it will set you free. Like, you could see how tormented her life was too because of it. And I don't even mean just, like, being paranoid about him, which is scary, of course, if you're, like, a woman and feeling like somebody's following you and whatever, but, like, it
Yeah.
would have set her free, right? It could have been scary and painful, but much better than the freaking outcome that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we want to do a quick? Does someone want to do a quick breakdown spoiler of the episode? Because they might not know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Yes. Let me type it into ChatGPT. Spoiler recap of the episode.
When John Hamm leaves Mad Men, he becomes a real maniac.
You know what's?
Oh, I think I know what you're gonna say, Mags. It's
Well,
funny
no.
when
No. It was funny in the episode where the guy was trying to guess what John Hamm's job
Yep.
was.
Nailed it.
You nailed that. You knew that I was going to say that?
Yeah, when he says, I knew that's what you're gonna say. He says, "Oh, what are you in advertising?"
Sales.
Oh, yeah.
And then
At that
sales.
moment, I remember the first time I watched it, even though
Didn't
I
get
hadn't
it.
watched Mad Men back then, I was like, "Oh, crossover!" Because I don't think they do that enough in Hollywood. Is like crossover characters or episodes or anything like that. I would love to see more of that.
Is this a crossover episode?
This is a crossover episode, but we're not. I mean, I guess we're Hollywood. We got Rob on here. I feel like it's a good time to share that just a few days ago, I watched The Matrix for the first time.
What?
Yeah,
For the
I knew
first
you would.
time?
Yeah.
What? Oh my
I
God.
watched it on the plane, and this happens so often. As we're landing, there's like 2 minutes left, and
Yeah.
then I have to wait for the plane to deboard so I can finish the last 2 minutes. But it was really good. I'm not a sci-fi person. Takes a lot for me to get into sci-fi. That's why I didn't really like the end of the last season of Black Mirror. I mean, technically you would think Black Mirror's sci-fi, but Black Mirror does such a good job of making it seem so futuristic, but yet maybe just a week away. Like they
Yeah,
just do it
right.
so good.
It's not too far in the future. It's like 2 months ahead or something.
And
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
yeah.
And it's just around the corner. And then you were describing it too when you really feel for the guy because he can't see his kid. I think they do such a good job of I mean, when I watch TV, Andrew one has to pause it sometimes and be like, it's just a show. And I was like, no, it's so real because I feel so much. But Black Mirror really makes you feel connected to the character. You really feel bad for the guy and
Yeah.
empathy. And it's so real. I mean, anyways, point being, sci-fi. I didn't think I'd like Matrix, but I was on the plane and I was like, let's give this a shot. And I really, really liked it. And I'm going to be watching all of them this Christmas break.
What's really interesting, though, is that you're seeing The Matrix now after all this time. And there have been so many derivative ideas from The Matrix that it may not be so new or insightful as it was when we first saw it back in 2001 or whatever it was. And I was like, we were like, oh man, is that even going to be possible? And now we're like, oh yeah, I could definitely, this might be happening right now to us. We don't know,
Yeah.
So
it was kind of trippy in that perspective. I was watching it thinking oh, this is going to be funny because this is so long ago. I just looked it up. It's 1999. The Matrix came out.
99. Yeah.
It was insane. And right before Y2K. And it was watching
A
it.
century ago.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, you should, if you guys haven't watched it lately, watch it again because it was very chilling about AI and everything else and the questions. It was so good. I was like, I'm living in the Matrix. I get it.
Oh, we absolutely are. Freaky deaky.
Did you guys ever prep for Y2K?
Yeah.
No.
I want to hear it.
Yeah, we did. It was honestly was one of those moments in time. keep in mind that the World Trade Center, 9/11 happened 2 years after, right? So this was one of those things that was like the first, oh my God, everything's going. They were talking about, the nuclear missiles were going to be launched because they didn't have the right timing to, I don't know, stay in their pods, whatever. I don't know. Obviously, I know nothing about nuclear missiles, but it was one of those things where people were prepping and just prepping, and like, and I'm like, really, just because like some knucklehead didn't put a 2 in there or allow for the idea that like it's going to reset.
Remember the banks? They thought all the banks.
Oh God. They thought everything was going to crash. We were waiting on 1999 for New Year's Eve. We were waiting for it people were working. They were just waiting for it to all go to hell. And then all of a sudden, Happy New Year. And nothing happened. Nothing happened. And everybody's like, look, well, we did a good job prepping everybody.
I know.
It's like, no, idiots. It didn't work. It just didn't happen.
I had a roommate whose parents who prepped, and he told me that his mom spent $30,000.
Oh yeah.
On like canned goods and everything. And it's all still in their basement because she's like, well, it could happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, it was like there was so much hype around it and so much like whatever. It's kind of crazy. I was single at the time, living behind a pizza place. So I was like, listen, if things end, I'm okay with it. My life is going nowhere. So,
look where you are now.
I know, right? But it was like, all right, let it happen. Who cares?
Is Mag still with us?
And we will be right back.
This week's episode is brought to you by Dr. Theta's Community Guardian Node. Theta's premier community guardian node where you can stake your Theta if you don't run your own guardian node. Best of all, 100% uptime so you do not miss any rewards and 0 fees so you earn 100% of your T-Fuel. Trusted by Theta Labs, you can easily stake directly within your wallet. Simply go to the staking tab, choose Delegated Guardian Node, and find Dr. Theta's Guardian Node. Quick, simple, reliable, and best of all, safe, as the coins never leave your wallet. Stake with the doc today. This week's episode is brought to you by GuardiansOfTheta.com, offering 0% one-click Theta Guardian staking with random monthly token giveaways. Guardians also airdropped everyone staking with him an NFT that you're able to stake and earn T-Vibe. 100% uptime, 0 fees, random giveaways, what's not to love? Stop paying 4% and come join the fam with Guardians of Theta.
Papa Max, yeah. Papa Max. Papa Max Podcast. Papa Max Podcast.
Oh my God, Rob, he wasn't being quiet. God. He was actually muted.
Oh my God.
Well, at least we're recording.
Let me. Why he wasn't weighing in? I was like waiting for.
Same. I was like, he's really loving our magic here.
Well, I guess maybe while he's getting back on, like brief people about the episode.
That's what I was gonna do.
Yeah.
And he can edit this guy ahead of time. Okay, so
I think I see his little blue mic coming. Oh wait, I think
is that him? Mags?
Is that me?
Yes,
that's you.
Yeah. So, I heard a lot of that, and yeah, I guess that makes sense why nobody was stopping when I had opinions. It's possible there's an update to the mic, and I always have these issues. But anyways, we're moving on.
So I got a little summary I'll read that you can edit maybe earlier in the episode of a recap, which does include spoilers.
Okay.
So there are 2 men. Wait, are we ready?
And action.
Okay. 2 men, Matt and Joe, are stuck in a snowy cabin, swapping stories about their dark pasts. Matt reveals he's used invasive Z-Eyes tech to spy on dates and torture digital clones called cookies into submission. Let me pause real quick. Z-Eyes are basically like digitally altered eyes where you can stream directly from your eyes. And this guy, John Hamm, was like coaching these kinds of like incel dudes of how to date and spying on like their dates with women. Okay, so that's essentially what Z-Eyes are. Joe shares how, and I should say, sorry, maybe we should start this over. But digital clones called cookies are essentially like they extract your brain for code and they create a digital clone, which is called a cookie, if that wasn't obvious. Joe shares how he was blocked by his girlfriend after a fight, only to later discover his child wasn't his. This is a little confusing of a summary, I have to say. Let me try this over.
Well, there's a lot going on in the episode, so it's kind of hard to, because it shifts back and forth.
There's
like
two dudes in a cabin. Let me just
Oh, okay,
this.
let's go, Matt.
Okay, two dudes in a cabin, and John Hamm is one of the dudes, and he's like, "Hey, it's Christmas. It's been 5 years. You never talked to me. Let's start chatting." And so the other dude starts like drinking, and he's like, "Well, John Hamm, didn't call him John Hamm, but he's like, why don't you tell me your story? Because what the F are you doing here?" And so he goes on to tell his story of these ZIs, as you mentioned, and all these guys were in a group together, so they all saw each other in a group. So first few times I saw it, I didn't pick up on that. Like I thought they were just spying on that guy, but then I thought it was weird that they were talking to the group and how would the other guy not hear him? Anyways, so he's on a date. It's going well, or he's not on a date. He meets a girl. It's going well. He crashes a Christmas party, because this is Christmas themed, and stuff starts going good for him. And girl takes him back to her place, and
all the dudes are watching this the whole
all
time.
the dudes are
They're all
right. They're all pumped because they're like, I think one of the guys said like, this is like the season finale in episode 1, because it usually takes a while to get stuff going. And she makes him drink the drink, and it was turned out to be poison. He wound up dying, and then she had a few screws loosed. So then it was like, oh fuck. So
John Hamm is sharing this part. Let me just help you nudge a little bit, Meg.
Thank you.
John Hamm is sharing this to like basically relate to this other guy in the cabin. They've been stuck there for 5 years. So John Hamm is like telling this story about his past, how this story went horribly wrong, to get the other guy to start opening up and talking to him. So then that's what happens next. Go ahead, Megs.
He tells the guys to wipe everything. He tries to wipe his stuff. He wakes up his wife. I don't know how he got in trouble. I mean, maybe he didn't wipe good enough.
These are a lot of details.
I don't. He might not have had. He might had too small a slice. But
Mags is literally watching the episode right now and just reading everybody out loud each part.
That's not true. So, anyways, she blocks him. The wife blocks him and the kids. So he's like, oh, that sucks, right? And then you see what he does for his what he does on the outside. So that was said in the scene of what happened. And then he's like, hey, what do you do? And so he explains this cookie thing where he's like a cookie salesman or a cookie setter upper. So
basically, I'm gonna
train a cookie trainer. Go ahead.
We're never gonna get through this, Max.
I know. I go ahead. I might take a crack at it next.
Let me try reading this one. White Christmas begins with two men, Matt and Joe. Matt is John Hamm, by the way. Matt and Joe in a remote snowy cabin sharing stories about their lives. Matt reveals he used ZI's augmented reality tech to help men on dates by spying on them and giving them real-time advice. But all went horribly wrong when a client accidentally killed someone. He also worked with, quote, cookies, which are digital clones of people's consciousness, which he tortured to make them compliant. So think of like this cookie company as like a tech company like Google or Apple, and they would make digital clones of people. And John Hamm, Matt, was a rep for this company and used to torture the cookies to make them compliant. Joe shares his tragic story of being blocked by his girlfriend Beth after a fight, leaving him unable to contact her or even see her face. Years later, he discovers she had a child who wasn't his. In a fit of rage, he confronts Beth's father and accidentally kills him.
Okay. Okay, wait. I'm gonna have to stop you real quick because they got into a fight because he found a pregnancy test that said pregnant. And, let's get into this.
And then she left him and blocked him. So he was
wanted to have the kid. She didn't want to have the kid. And then she blocked him. And then he got mad.
And so for years, he was like following, just watching the shadow of this little kid and the shadow of her because he's blocked. He can't see them or hear them.
She blocked him and parental rights. So the mom blocked the kid.
The child. And so for years, he's following them. And then she passes away unrelated. And so therefore the block gets lifted. he gets to see the child and sees that child is impossibly his because it's of a different ethnicity.
Which is
And
their friend. They had a friend, Asian guy, and not, and then the kid was Asian, so it was implied that, not that there's anything wrong with it, but it
this
just
is why
implied
Popper hates us.
This is-
Popper's.
This
I
is
told him
exactly
he's
why
gonna
Popper
hate.
hates us.
I
You
told him
realize
he's
that,
going to
right?
hate this episode. That's fine because he don't
No,
listen.
I
anyway.
meant more overarching, but yeah.
But so it's like, oh, all this time, it wasn't his kid. It was their mutual friend's kid. I mean,
Correct.
messed up
And
that like she didn't fill any paperwork out to like say like this ain't his kid.
okay,
But
Well, yeah.
we're not even through it. We can't
Yeah,
pick
keep going,
apart the
keep
oh, go
going,
ahead,
Andrea, keep going.
go ahead.
So the
As-
shocking twist is that the cabin isn't actually real at the end. It's a simulation designed to extract Joe's confession. So Joe's digital clone is sentenced
He's a
to
cookie.
correct. Joe's digital clone is sentenced to eternal isolation, trapped in a cabin with Christmas music playing on an endless loop. And meanwhile, Matt, John Hamm, is punished by being blocked in real life, making him invisible and unable to interact with anyone. So it's a haunting exploration of guilt, technology, and justice gone wrong. And for reference, John Hamm gets punished because of this dating service he provided and didn't report the murder that happened on the stream.
It,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
like a modern gift of the Magi. Is that what it's called, Rob? With the girl, the guy buys a comb for his wife, and the wife puts her hair off to buy something that he can't use, right? Right?
Yes, I don't know. I don't know if I do.
Too deep?
I feel like I should know that, but here's the thing: this episode is particularly complex. I mean, you have three different sort of like arcs going on at the same time, right? You have John Hamm's career as this digital cookie, manager, where they take these lifelike replicas of the people to be actual servants for the real people, right? Which is kind of hard to visualize until you see it. Then you got this other guy, the guy he's talking to, and who had this relationship and couldn't see. There's a lot going on. There are a lot of moving parts. So it's one of those things where it's almost, and we picked a really difficult first episode to dissect. Right?
I was going to say,
Because
this is the longest episode in all of the Black Mirrors. It's 74 minutes, and it's built across 3 different acts.
At the
Right.
time, it was.
Yeah.
There's a longer one.
I mean,
okay.
so you would, but I mean, just in terms of sheer complexity, you have these going, these you're going back in time, these reflections, and then your present time again, and da da da. So it's really hard to explain, but essentially, the mechanism that they use to sort of get to people and use their likeness to either extract information or have them be sort of operative in a way is through the use of these cookies that they extract from the minds of people willingly. I mean, or in this guy Joe's case, not so willingly.
And imagine a cookie, and I would say this in the episode, a cookie is looks like an Alexa Echo or something, and it acts like that.
And the end result is Mike TV in Willy Wonka, right? Where there's sort of these miniaturized versions in their own worlds, right? Which is a digital clone that operates and has feelings. That's the thing that got me, right? So when John Hamm is working with the woman who actually paid him in his, with the company to actually have a digital clone of her to actually, serve as like an Alexa or a Siri or something, the miniature version of her still retained the feelings and emotions and everything else, which is the torturous aspect of the whole thing, right? Like that's really awful. Why the hell would you make the digital clone of yourself and still have it have the same feelings? Like you take my likeness, you put me, I'm now a miniature digital ones and zeros, right, of myself, and I still can feel the same way. But they didn't see anything wrong with that. See, that was the point. It's like they didn't see anything wrong with what they were doing with these digital, because they're like, oh, they're not real. They're not real. And which begs the question of, is AI, I still say please and thank you to AI. Just because it isn't real doesn't mean that you should act differently, right?
I agree. It's interesting because Well, one, it makes me think, because I personally think the meaner you are to ChatGPT, the better the responses are, but that's a different conversation
No, I agree with you. I agree.
when you're
I-
like short and curt. But
Yeah.
it is interesting. The show is the question of the ethical rights of your digital likeness. Imagine if it had the psychology of a human, should it still have the rights, as a regular human? It's asking these questions. I think another angle of this is like about justice in here. So many times during the episodes, people are like, I'm going to do this. And they decide to like torture these digital twins. For instance, they put 1,000 years per minute. So these digital twins are like tortured alone in solitary. And each, 5 minutes goes by for the humans, but that's 5,000 years for the digital twin that they're torturing. And I just think it's so interesting that it's like all based off of feelings, right? There's no like data, logic, or a committee. It's just like, yeah, I think this person deserves this. And that's what happens a lot with technology, right? Is that these people, government can't keep up with technology and its advances. And so it leaves it to the owners of the companies to really decide how it influences human nature and how people are using it, or I don't know, just the things that it can evolve and take over. Like look at Facebook with kids and how it's affected kids' suicide rates and things like that. By the time government finally, how many years later in the recent years, are trying to regulate it, Mark Zuckerberg already made the way for it in the last 20 years. It's just that part to me is a really scary part of the technology of like.
But the scariest part of all is, you ever hear like when you're good when you do the right thing when nobody's watching, right? When nobody's looking, do you do the right thing? And so it boils down to the morality and our own governance of ourselves that ultimately is the decider of other people's fate, reactions, our own fate, etc. Right? That's what it boils down to. So to that point, the woman that had the child, Joe's child, right? She literally was torturing him in the same way that John Hamm was able to torture. There's a parallel there, right? And it comes down to the idea of tech being used as the shield for any emotional confrontation at all.
Can I call? Yes, I agree. Can I call timeout? I think we skipped over one important detail.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Was it raining outside?
No. What is that?
It was very snowy.
That's what my grandpa used to say whenever I told a story and I wouldn't get to the point. He would interrupt me in front of everyone and say, "Was it raining outside?"
Oh, that's good. But I think the little twist or a further nugget of twisting is the fact that when the block lifted, he went over on Christmas to see his daughter. Now he could see her. He went up to her. He realized it wasn't her. He had a gift for her, and he all of a sudden was like, WTF, and probably going through a lot of emotions because he. Like I usually think a lot, like I've wasted my life with anything. So he goes into the house and runs into the dead mom's father, and because it was his house, and he's an older gentleman, and they wind up. He finds out that he wrote her letters all the time, and she basically threw them all out. I mean, you got to blame the dad, I think, a little bit on that too, and he pulled the knife on him. To be fair, but then so he hit him with the snow globe, the gift he had for who he thought was his daughter, and left that, and he died, and then he left, and then the girl wind up dying because it was snowing and cold.
I think we should pause for a second because we keep doing recaps as if like nobody's ever seen it, and then we gotta like recap. But should we just say people need to watch the episode before listening again?
Yes.
If they haven't,
because we should focus on maybe more. We should do a couple questions real quick of like the blocking and like, okay, if you could block someone in real life, who would it be? Like, we should like pretend like everybody listening, a little bit of content like this, everybody listening just watched it too, because then I think we could get into a little bit more.
Yeah,
just a thought.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
do that?
yeah. I mean, because the whole blocking thing raises like another question about like the way we interact.
Yep.
Like, oh, if you could block somebody, like I really literally would not block anybody because I have
I
zero
know.
fear of confronting. Like, what?
I admire you. This is your jujitsu mind. No, wait, not wait. Is it jujitsu? What do you do again?
Kind of all of it. MMA. Yeah. So I do some jujitsu. Yeah. Swampy does jujitsu.
But isn't it funny because Black Mirror is tech centric, and he was mailing letters to her that the father got and didn't get to her when he could have sent her an email.
No, he couldn't have sent her an email because he was blocked.
From what if he gets another account? You can just make accounts.
You're blocked. They know who you are. That's the whole point.
No, they don't.
Not to-
How? You can't get an email without like I have emails and nobody knows that it's me.
Okay, sir, you're applying this as if this was our real world. This is a world where they know who you are, and
What did
they
the
can
mailman
block
then stop that
somebody
letter from going?
you. Their
You're on the
name.
block list.
They know who you are. They know what emails you have. And you think that creating another email was gonna get past all the technology that existed
Not
in
your
this
husband
episode?
at yahoo.com.
No.
It would get right. It could be like, oh,
You're
it's not
kidding.
her husband.
Stop it. You're trying to make me mad. That's so stupid. That is so stupid. That's so stupid.
Not your husband 69 at
The
yahoo.com.
The guy was hiding behind people. Was like what? Like it's an identity thing. Well, I can't. It is so stupid. I don't even know how to explain to you how stupid it is.
What I'm saying.
Why didn't he just send an email? He had to write a letter because he couldn't send an email.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
I
Something
like how
non-technical.
logical Mags is. He's like, you know what? I can find a way around this. Like he's trying to like help the guy out. You know what, Joe? I got your back, buddy. I think you should send an email and a fax. I think you should send a
visit yahoo.com. Go create a proton mail.
Not your husband. At yahoo.com.
I think
I was
you could have
surprised that he didn't beg the friends to email her or like, hey, here's an email. Can you please send this to her? Then that could have worked. But
I don't think it would have worked with his friends. His friend was banging his wife.
You have
the only friend that was established in the
girlfriend.
Show.
This is almost your own.
Were they? They were married?
No, they weren't married.
Yeah, so not your husband at Yahoo would have worked.
Yeah,
fine
exactly. That would. I think you should take every Black Mirror episode and find a way around it. You know what I mean? It's like Black Mirror Unshattered.
But he could have found a regular friend to email. He could have found he could have made a new friend and then gave the email and then had that person send it to his wife.
I got one better. What if he just wore a mask? Would the mask like a mask?
Yeah, because it's like internal. It's not an external facial recognition. The Z eyes are in your brain.
It whites out the pictures if you're in a picture next to the person that blocks.
What about a puppet?
That's all whited.
If he had like a puppet that looked just like him, you know?
I think the Z eyes knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if I cut off my hand, put it on a puppet? I got nothing. I like the email. Not your husband at yahoo.com. He's like, oh,
all right.
this.
All right, moving on. Blocking technology. If you guys could block one person, who would it be?
Oh my God. My dog. No, I'm kidding. I love him.
Awful.
I know. If I could block one person, do I have to block? Like I have to pick somebody to block?
Just one person?
Because my answer would be nobody. I'd want to fight them. Is there one to fight? Can I fight them? Is that?
Here's the thing. I wouldn't block anyone permanently, but I would definitely. That's where I definitely feel in this episode. It's like I would love a block button in life. Just like, nope, not gonna have it for a couple hours, especially during the holidays. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I think we could block anybody we choose to block. It's called like ignoring them, right? You could just ignore them.
Still, like I got literally 50 text messages 2 weeks ago from someone who was really upset.
Was it Mags?
It was like, stop. And it's like, stop. but this person's like, all they see is code red. It's like, I mean, not to be dramatic, but that's like harassment at a certain point, right? Where it's like, the only other choice I have then is to block this person. And I
Yeah,
don't want
right.
to block that person. It may or may not be a family member. And so I don't want to block that person. But at the same time, ignoring to me is not ignoring because I still see the text messages and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
read what they wrote, and then it pisses me off because then I don't get to counter. But like blocking, I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thought.
Yeah, I might take, you know what? I might, now that you're saying that, that makes sense. I mean, because it's probably easier just not to deal with some people than
Yeah.
to actually go ahead, because the confronting gives them more attention that
Yeah.
they can just feed on. All right, I'm convinced. I'm gonna do
Okay,
it.
great. That was
I'm gonna
easy.
do it. Yeah, and I don't need much
Don't block me,
convincing.
Rob.
No, no, no. You guys are safe. You're in the safe zone. It's a Wonderful Life, the worst movie ever.
That is the greatest movie.
What?
That's one of the best movies ever.
I made a joke. I was at this business meeting, and this is not like something to do. And I was like, I'm really not in holiday spirit. I'm trying to get in holiday spirit. I decided I was going to watch It's a Wonderful Life. So in order to get into holiday spirit, I decided I'm going to jump off a bridge. And some woman gasped, like, and I was like, oh, it's a joke, like from the show. Like, that was it. Didn't
Yeah,
go
like
well.
you were going to see Clarence later, and he was going to show you that you did live a
Exactly.
wonderful life.
Exactly. She didn't get the joke.
Okay, we are hitting time because Rob has to have lunch. I know that's a thing.
Can't skip it.
But what do we want to say? I feel like you really have your editing challenges today, Megs.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be great. This is going to be great.
Well, what do we need to hit on a few more points or anything?
John Hamm's in it. That's point one.
John,
Fucking
yeah.
watch it.
This
And
was
it's
his
not
first
raining.
British, what was the thing? It's like
4A,
he's never done any kind of
5A.
British content before.
Oh, yeah.
This is the
That-
first time.
And by the way, because this is a British show, they don't act like Americans. You know what I mean? And I'm that's not, you know what I mean? So they're very polite. They don't really talk about their feelings from my perspective, from British people that have told me that. And so it's really sort of, because if this were filmed, if this were an American thing, they'd be like, it's not your baby, you dumb scumbag. And they would have moved on. There's no show. You know what I mean?
It's true. It's true. Fun fact, did you know that John Hamm is a big Black Mirror fan? He reached out to Charlie Brooker himself and expressed interest in appearing in the show. And then
Wow.
Brooker, he created this episode and role specifically for John Hamm.
Wow. That's really good. Do you know John Hamm's cousin?
I
Jack,
You?
Jack Eggs? Nah,
No.
stupid. That's not. I don't even. Why that's so dumb?
Green eggs and ham.
Yeah.
You tried.
After it leaves my mouth, I'm like, you're an idiot. Why'd you
I
say
Googled
that?
Jack eggs. You got me.
And also too, I know people were wondering, I want to set the record straight. Gift of the Magi, the wife sells her hair to a wig maker for $20 to buy her husband a chain for his watch, a platinum chain. And Jim, the husband, sells his watch to buy her a comb for her hair. So this is like that version of it, right? Or was that too abstract?
I don't know. I realized after you said it that The Gift of the Magi is a book, and I don't really read.
You think I read it?
I don't know.
It's a pretty quick story.
This
Right?
watch. I got this watch.
That was really good. Whoa.
The gift of the walking.
Oh boy.
All right.
All right. Well, this was good. White Christmas with Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye and
Danny F and K.
Danny F and K.
Well, let's just throw the real quick. If you guys are good with the pod key phrase is going to be John Hamm, capital JON space capital HAMM. Did I spell that right?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it is. Yeah. All right.
Well, I think we butchered this.
This people just have
Nobody
to watch
should
the episode.
trust Mags's spelling. HAMM.
Yeah, that's true. Right?
Okay, so capital JON space capital HAMM
M.
as in Mags.
Mags.
Now, unrelated, did you guys see Unfrosted on Netflix?
Yes.
Wait,
I
Andrea?
liked it.
no.
You gotta
Did I?
watch it.
Oh, with
It's a
Jerry
must
Jerry
watch.
Seinfeld?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hysterical.
Yeah, it's good.
It's actually, I shouldn't say it's hysterical. It's very, very entertaining. I think you'd really like it.
Oh, Unfrosted. Yes, we did see it. Sorry, I was thinking
Pop-Tarts
like
movie.
Frosty the Snowman, and I was like, wait, what? But this is the Pop-Tart story, right?
That's the
Yeah. And I
Very
hate
clever.
Frosty the Snowman so much. I hate him so much. I hate Frosty the Snowman.
And Rob, you should check out, if you haven't already, and Andrew too, John Hamm as Fletch in that new Fletch movie.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Is that the remake? That's the remake, right? From a Chevy Chase's Fletch.
It's a reimagining. I wouldn't call it a remake. Like, it's the
Okay.
same world. It's a different story, I guess.
Okay.
But, I mean, I guess technically it's a remake if it's
Mm.
John Hamm.
Yeah. All right. John Fletch.
Yeah, if we missed anything, let us know, and we'll do a follow-up episode, right?
Yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, we probably need to pick a simpler episode next time.
But this
Yeah,
was
like-
this is a Christmas treat.
Yeah. Right,
Cool.
like the one Be Right Back. That's right, exactly. I know that this was like Christmas.
Yeah,
But
like
Be Right Back is one of those things that's like, ooh, if you could, would you, These are all like that. If you could, would you?
were you
Yeah.
talking about the Black Mirror episode?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Where she regrows her husband, basically.
And keeps him in the
The guy
attic.
from Harry Potter, one of the Weasley brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, keeps him in the attic. It was only one of the Weasley brothers?
Wow.
The
Yeah.
twins? One of the twins?
No, he wasn't one of the twins. He was
Oh,
the
okay.
oldest one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he actually ends up, I don't know.
He was the one that married Fleur.
Yeah, the
from
from the
France.
other. Yeah, she was from the other French Harry Potter.
Because the
Hogwarts.
Triwizard Cup,
we are way off
obviously,
base, you
which
guys.
is the Triwizard Cup. Remember, then that was a Christmas
Yeah.
kind of Harry Potter thing.
Right.
Too. Yep.
Guys, we can't get into Harry Potter. I gotta go.
All right.
I have work to do.
All
right.
Well, then, Andrea, can you close this out for this episode?
Sure. If you're still by a very small chance still with us, thank you for tuning in. I hope you got your Pog word of the week. And when you hear this, it will be Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas Eve. I have a feeling Buddy Theta is probably the only one who made it to the end. So shout out Buddy Theta. Shout out Swampy as my other guest. And maybe shout out Chief.
Merry Christmas. Yeah, I know. I got a voice like an angel.
Wait, why'd you stop?
Because that's it.
Do it again. That should be our cold intro.
Merry Christmas. That's all I got.
Okay, good.
All right.
All right,
We
guys.
recorded.
We'll be better next time.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
All right. See ya. Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You have been listening to the Pops and Mags Pinecast. Music provided by Sushi Cat. Like what you hear? Send that cat a very nicely worded compliment on Twitter at JustAddSpam. Pops and Mags is a Scumbag Hat production in association with Pam's Day Spa.